This is just a part-time job compared to the coffee rota. And it was also interesting to arrive and discover real live debate on crucial issues, which is so different to my own experience across town at Westminster. No, I'm very pleased to be here. I'm pleased for quite a number of reasons, the most important of which is that I think it's time that government gave a real focus and a real push to dealing with the problems of empty homes. And we've set out to do that. Nick, you mentioned, I'm not sure if it's praise or blame, that I was one of the 4 Liberal Democrat negotiators who put together the coalition agreement, and in that you will see a commitment to dealing with empty homes. And the dice rolled so that I actually have finished up in the Department of Communities and Local Government with part of that responsibility, together with the Housing Minister, Grant Shapps. And we have made a point of making sure that this week we give a public impetus to dealing with the issue of empty homes. And I very much welcome this event taking place today, a joint effort between Empty Homes and the Empty Homes Network, and a very wide range of people here I can see, and evidently, as my text says, of course this is another thing, being a minister, I discovered that you have all the words put in front of you, so my text says a richness of discussion. I heard some of that richness of discussion just now. There are different points of view, there are different experiences, and I hope we can build on that in order to make sure that we get the maximum impact and the maximum result out of what we are all trying to do as far as empty homes go. I described it last week in the public prints as being a scandal that there are 300,000 long-term empty homes, whilst at the same time there are families who are desperate for accommodation. And we all know that we need to build more homes more quickly, but at the same time it's obviously of fundamental importance to make better use of the homes we do have. That, especially when it comes to empty homes, is better for the communities, it's better for the environment, and of course it's better for the families who get the new homes. And I know that that's a view that everybody in this room shares. Now, the government does not see its role as being to dictate exactly how all of that should be achieved, but rather to make it possible on the ground. And we've already gone a long way to put things in place to make that happen. Something which has been perhaps not as highlighted as it should have been is the new homes bonus, which rewards local authorities for providing new homes by matching council tax receipts for 6 years. That's worth around £7,000 per home, which is put to use. The extra funding can be spent to benefit the local community as the local council decides, and that can certainly include renovating more empty properties if they choose to do that. But it's not just a new build homes bonus. Local authorities will receive the same reward for bringing an empty home back into use as well. And in fact, some already have, because the first helping of new homes bonus has been paid to every local housing authority in England already, covering the last 12 months. And that's a direct financial incentive for local authorities to tackle empty homes as part of their overall approach to meeting housing need locally. Now I like to multiply the sums up and see what happens. Supposing we brought all 300,000 long-term empty homes back into use. Well, the new homes bonus alone would mean that £2 billion was paid to local housing authorities as a reward for doing it. So it's not at all an inconsiderable sum of money that's involved, and it could be a major boost and a major driver for empty homes policy by local authorities. We've also invested £100 million as part of the Affordable Homes programme, which is our long-term programme to bring 155,000 additional social and affordable homes to the market between now and 2015. and the £100 million investment we're making in empty homes is part of our contribution to building that figure up. And of course, at a time when money is extremely tight, when many people would like to see more invested in just about anything you can mention, the fact that we have managed to put that £100 million aside for bringing empty homes back into use shows the strength of the commitment that we've got. Now, the key aim of that funding is to tackle some of the most difficult properties where other approaches have failed. And these will be ones which have been open for empty for well over 2 years. We also want to see it used to support innovative approaches. Empty homes often provide opportunities for doing things differently, for involving communities directly, for building partnerships across boundaries, and indeed for training and development of skills as well. And we need to find every way we can to make the money go further. Tackling empty homes generates savings, and the benefits of those savings are ones that we need to capture as well. Now, there are many different approaches, and I know that during today you've had presentations on quite a number of them. Some local authorities see empty homes as an authority-wide problem with authority-wide solutions. And last Monday at the Empty Homes Roundtable, it was interesting to hear of the experience from Stoke-on-Trent in that respect. Councils can see occupied property as a source of council tax, and of course the new homes bonus effectively doubles their council tax take of a newly occupied empty home. And of course an occupied home will generate fewer calls to the police and the fire service than an empty home or a derelict property. And we need to make those savings come to bear on tackling the most difficult homes blighting neighbourhoods. I'm a very strong advocate of community budgeting, of bringing together all the resources which are put in by the public sector to a neighbourhood and making sure that we get the maximum number of bangs for our buck from that. We've made a start. There's a lot more to be done, and I hope that that in turn, in due course, will be able to be another lever which will be available to get empty homes dealt with more quickly. But the investment isn't only going to be about the most difficult properties. If we're going to make a serious impact on the number of empty homes, we need to devote some of our resources to homes which, although they are stubbornly empty, could still be brought back into use more easily. That might be negotiations with owners or an offer of modest assistance, a loan or help in finding a tenant or managing the tenancy. There are plenty of things available, and I know you've spent much of the day talking about it. And I'm also very keen that we find ways where we can scale up what we do, where we can have schemes which have a pipeline of revenue that can be predicted for future years. Through the new homes bonus and elsewhere, making a real contribution to tackling housing need. Now, there's also, if you like, the wholesale problem, where there's been widespread abandonment with people left in intolerable conditions. And that's why we've allocated £30 million in addition to the £100 million to help people trapped in the worst conditions where housing market renewal schemes have been stalled. For example, where only a few homes remain occupied in a derelict street. It certainly seems to be the case that regeneration really only works when it's got the support of local communities. And so we're looking for innovative and financially sound proposals backed by local people that will finally transform the lives of people in those communities. And my colleague Grant Shapps has been visiting a number of the housing market renewal areas and talking to local residents, and it's perhaps, you might find surprising that in at least some of those places they always felt that market renewal was done to them rather than owned by them. And we would like to make sure that in investing in the future we have something which is more community-centred. Our ambition isn't just about empty homes at all. There are land and buildings of all kinds lying empty, often actually in the same areas as empty homes. And many of those turn out to be in public ownership. Now, we announced plans earlier this year to give members of the public the right to reclaim and to develop hundreds of acres of unused public sector land and buildings. And the new community right to reclaim land will help communities improve their local area by using disused publicly owned land for new development. So, I come today to say that government is creating new opportunities, the new homes bonus, the £100 million investment, the community right to reclaim land, the £30 million to deal with abandonment in former housing renewal areas. But we don't think we've got all the solutions. We don't even think we've got most of the solutions. And last Monday I met people in the business who were making those connections, sharing what they're doing, and finding some of those new solutions. I met Jim Overbury from Housing Action in Suffolk. One of the case studies which appears in the Homes and Communities Agency Toolkit, a social enterprise which offers landlords a complete service in refurbishing, in letting and managing empty properties. And that, I think, demonstrates that tackling empty homes doesn't just benefit communities, they present the commercial benefits to landlords in a simple and effective way. I met Aileen from B4Box, whoever operate in my own northwestern area, who've delivering a multi-skills construction training scheme in a real-world environment. Now, of course, all you people will say, well, we knew about that, everything was going on. The thing for me, as a newcomer to the ministerial desk, is to discover that all over the country, in different places, different things are being tried, different things are succeeding, and, let's be honest, sometimes different things are failing. And the purpose of the toolkit, and the purpose of today, and the purpose of the push that we're making is to make sure we bring together all the experiences that we've got and we draw on what we can to develop further, faster and quicker. I hope you agree that the HCA toolkit is going to help to do that. I know that you've had a discussion about that earlier on. I do hope that you find that useful. I hope you will use it. I hope you'll also take the opportunity to let us know if a tool has been left out of the kit, if you've got experience which shows that something else would work as well. We've got a number of initiatives which we've described as barrier busting because in my experience, and I'm sure your experience, we spend a lot of time in meetings sitting around agreeing that it would be good to do something, but they won't let us, or the rules say we can't do it. And as far as it's practicable, in Department of Communities and Local Government, we want to know what those we want to know what the barriers are anyway, but as far as practical, we want to deal with those barriers, but we can only do that if you let us know. So tell us what you think of the toolkit, tell us what could be added to the toolkit, tell us how to improve the resources, the use of the intellectual resources which that toolkit has. I just want to finish, Nick, by saying that the country is short of homes. Last year the production of new homes was the lowest peacetime total for 90 years. And yet the number of new households being formed and looking for a home went up. So tackling empty homes makes sense on every front. They're there already, it's just that they're not being used. And the government is determined to make real progress tackling it. We're working hard, we're ready to put money up front, we want to share your best practice, and we want to get real multiplication of the impact right across the country in every local housing authority area to get empty homes back into use. We look forward to working with you to do that. We look forward to making a real dent in the scandal of the 300,000 empty homes standing idle. And I hope very much that you will invite me back in a year's time and that we'll be able to say to each other, we've made a start, we know there's more to do, but we're on the route to success. Thank you very much.